Uh-oh, Rudy Giuliani is risking contempt and maybe jail time because he refuses to follow the directions and orders of a federal judge in New York to turn over all of his property, including his house, his apartment in New York, to Ruby Freeman and Shay to pay off their $150 million judgment against Rudy Giuliani. You're on the new Legal AF YouTube channel. I'm Michael Popok. Take a moment. Early voting has started. Hit the blue subscribe button. Bring other people to do the same thing as we build this channel with our bare hands and your help. I'm at the intersection to talk about developments ever since Judge Lyman in the Southern District of New York already ruled against Rudy Giuliani a couple of weeks ago and said, turn it all over, Rudy. Turn over your bank accounts and your Yankee memorabilia and your condos, maybe Florida. We'll talk about Florida and the condo there in a minute. Turn over your grandfather's watch and your watches and everything else and do it within 7 days. Well, the 7 days came and went. And according to some reporting, he hasn't turned it over. And there was a hearing just a couple of days ago in court where the judge was talking about the Florida condo. Because if Rudy Giuliani doesn't establish that sometime early in the early part of this summer, he established residency in Florida so that he could put a ring fence around his condo under their homestead law to protect debtors from losing their houses. If he doesn't do that in terms of timing, he's done. The Florida condo, just blocks from Mar-a-Lago, will be owned by Shay and Ruby Freeman. I love the poetic justice and the cosmic justice about that. They should go live in that. That, and go half a block to the beach and shop on Worth Avenue with more of their $150 million judgment for having been horribly doxxed and defamed. Let me remind everybody what this judgment is about. It's about people. And it's about people named Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, a mother-daughter team, who all they were doing was their civic duty, doing low-paid jobs, counting ballots in Fulton County, Georgia, back in 2020 when they got accused wrongfully of participating in a fraudulent vote count, bringing in ballots for Joe Biden, holding them underneath their desk, sticking it in a thumb drive into a computer that generated votes for Biden. All a lie. All a lie. They were absolved by everybody that ever looked at it. And the video, that was a slice and dice misediting on purpose in order to make it look like they were doing something they didn't. And they got a judgment against Rudy Giuliani for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And the jury awarded them $148 million. It's been running with interest. He doesn't have that kind of money. He's got some unsuccessful, failed podcast. He shows up on the stage at Madison Square Garden a couple of days ago. You know, he's got hair dye dripping down his face. He says when he walks down the street, people yell out his name. I got to tell you, I've walked near Rudy Giuliani on the streets of New York. I don't see anybody coming up to him and patting him on the back at all. Be that as it may, he got ordered 2 weeks ago by Judge Lyman, a federal judge, to turn it all over. Turn the 1980s Mercedes from Lauren Bacall, the Yankee memorabilia, he has dozens of watches, the bank account, the money, the keys to the co-op apartment in New York worth several $1 million. Hasn't done any of it yet. He's still fighting for the Florida condo. And he's going to lose that too. They had a hearing earlier this week in which Rudy Giuliani tried to sort of argue, although he wasn't there, his lawyers were, about the date that he became a resident of Florida. Why does that matter? Because if it was sometime in the summer, it may put this judgment beyond the reach of Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. And because in Florida, there's a homestead protection law that puts a ring fence around your home so you don't lose it to a creditor. But you got to be a real bona fide resident of Florida. And I don't think he was. And the lawyers were playing fast and loose with Judge Lyman about telling him when the decision was made and what is the proof of the decision that he is a resident of Florida. I mean, he hung around apparently after Madison Square Garden, still living in the New York apartment. So he's going to have a hard time here. And I think he's going to lose that. But the reporting right now is he hasn't even turned over any of it. Not the keys or the corporate stock book for the apartment in New York, not the watches. He's busy complaining on various whatever outlets he's able to talk on still about, I got to lose my grandfather's watch. And oh, poor you. Poor you. Turn it over. You owe them $150 million. No, sorry. Now it's over $160 million running with interest. So, as I said at the top of this hot take, Rudy Giuliani playing with fire once again. The last time he did that, he lost both of his bar licenses. He got indicted in Arizona, another mugshot, indicted in Georgia. He's just a failed non-lawyer running around trying to make money any way he can. And the best part, there's a couple of cosmic justice aspects of this reporting. One is that he had to turn over to Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss a $2 million IOU from Donald Trump that they can now collect for attorney's fees for the reason he lost his bar license. And so now Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss can go sue in the name of Rudy Giuliani, go collect that money, which I love. And they're gonna live in New York or in Palm Beach and enjoy themselves for at least some measure of justice at the expense of Rudy Giuliani. And him, by not turning things over as ordered by a federal judge, he'll give him one more chance. He'll fine him every day until I don't know where he's going to get the money from. He'll fine him every day, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a day till he complies. And if he still doesn't comply and turn over all these things, he's going to put him in jail. Now maybe that's Rudy Giuliani's angle here. These MAGA love jail. They love going to jail. Steve Bannon loved jail. 4 months, came out a new man. Well, no, he's really the same old disgusting podcaster. They love Peter Navarro, fresh out of the clink, went right to the Republican National Convention. I never saw so many felons at a convention before. Even Richard Nixon didn't have that many felons in his administration. They love it. They think it's a badge of honor. They'll get like a tattoo with Donald Trump's face on it. Don't put it past them. Roger Stone, who's one of the no more MAGA person who's trying to overthrow democracy than Roger Stone for Donald Trump. Already been pardoned once, but he's going to get indicted again. He's got a giant back tattoo of Richard Nixon, his idol. So don't put it past him. Maybe that's what Rudy Giuliani's trying to do, so he can come out a martyr and he can fire up whatever group of people support him and get more money from a GoFundMe page. I don't really know. All I can do is report at the intersection of law and politics here on, did I tell you, Legal AF, the new YouTube channel? Tell friends about it. It's at Legal AF MTN for Midas Touch Network. Free subscribe. Help us build this network so we're here, we're durable at the other side of the election. Until my next contribution, until my next podcast for Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.